We're talking a little bit about some of the things that happen in this day and age, and the news is just, it's just full of stuff now. I can't even get my breath. It's almost start laughing every time you turn on the news. There's something more incredibly bizarre, and we're not going to get into all the people that get killed that's related to, that's close to our government officials that know this and that, and just dozens of, and this has been going on for several administrations, I'm going to tell you now. I mean, somebody close to administration or something that's not quite walking the line, well, they accidentally committed suicide or something. What luck. You know, one guy, Vince Foster, actually committed suicide with a shot in the back of the head or something. I don't know how you do that. Pretty cool. What luck for them, because he was about to spill the beans. We're living in that kind of age. We live in it. But this is how important that you understand this. Years ago, I got to go to Winnemac. It had a gospel campus been years ago, and I'm going to forget a lot of it. But they had a guest speaker. His name was Sergei Kurtikov. And he was a young man. He kind of built like a Arnold Schwarzenegger, just full of joy and happiness. You couldn't believe it. And he got up and told his story about how he was a young, I'm going to forget the name of it. He was a member of the KGB in Russia, the juvenile KGB. And he was one of their star guys in their job. And he said his job was to go around and find in Russia now this is an atheist nation, so it's not religion that's causing your freedom to be taken away. Okay? Keep that, because a lot of people say, well, religion is what takes your freedom away. It is not. Christ gave us freedom. Anyway, his job was, his group of guys would go around and find where they have his secret prayer meetings. And he would just beat them people to death. They get to go in, use any weapons they want, they could do anything with it, and they had more fun just going into prayer meetings, just beating old people to death. And he said one time he went in, and they was going to just beat these people to death. There was this old lady just looked at him and said something in Russian about God forgiving him. And he went to knock her head right off, and boy, something caught his arm. He said it wouldn't move. And that's the first thing he thought, wait a minute. Because he was a very strong, powerful person. He couldn't do it. His arm would not go down. And it scared him. Long story short, he kind of got looking around and found the Bible, got to read a little bit, and then he jumped ship up in the straits up there between Russia and Alaska. And it was a terrible night to swim. He was a very powerful man, and he could swim a long time, but he was going to drown anyway. He said, well, God, I'm going to drown you. I'm just sorry for all I did. And a fishing boat had seen him and pulled him in. He made it to America, and he was going around telling his story. He had a book out, Sergei Kurtikov, if you ever look at it. Very sharp young man, and he was so happy to be in the freedom of America, and he was so happy because more than America, he found Christ. That was his joy. That's right. And he very joyfully said, they will kill me. The KGB will kill me. I have no choice. They will kill me. They will find me you will read about finding me in a motel, and I will have a suicide note that they will say that I left, that I was unhappy that I left the Soviet Union. There's nothing that can be done about it. It will happen, but I rejoice in Jesus Christ. And it wasn't 2 weeks later, they found him in a motel room, and they found him dead. Listen, folks, you do not understand how we have lost our freedom in this country. It's been going on for a long time. There's not a one of us in here safe, if that's what you're looking for. Your finances aren't safe. You can be the best financial wizard in the world. Your life is not safe. Your reputation is not safe. Nothing is safe. Only safety and freedom comes from Jesus Christ, period. That's right. There is none other. There is none. There's no happiness everywhere else. No happiness anywhere else. It's from Jesus Christ only. I know that we'll get to talk. There's a lot of people debate about, are we in those times, those last times? And this is what gets me really, really excited. Because Jesus said at one time, oh, I'll miss where that's at, and so maybe find later, it doesn't matter. But he said, he was talking to the scribes at first, he said, if the prophets of old would have been in this time when I arrived, they would rejoice. And the kings, you know, we know the 3 kings come and the wise men come at his birth. They rejoiced at his birth. They were living in that age. They got to see what was prophesied for quite a few thousand years. They were there. Right. Folks, we're going to get to see what's prophesied into this book. That's right. It's here. We're the luckiest people on earth that live in this particular age. We're seeing it happen now.
Right.
It's almost startling. This last election, I'm not going to say one way or either other party where I could care less, but it was just kind of odd. The whole world rejoiced over this election and who got elected, except one nation. That was Israel.
That's right.
And the Bible says in the very last time that every nation would stand against Israel. What a quinky-dink. You'd have to have a lot of faith if that was an accident.
That's right.
Now I'm going to read a couple of things here and see if this sounds familiar to you. I'm just saying. 2 Peter. Matter of fact is, I'll just skip down to 2 Peter chapter 2, and I'm just going to skip down to the 19th verse and that just for a moment. Then I'm going to use a message letter, what the letter of the message was about. See if I got this. 19. While they promise them liberty, they themselves are servants of corruption. For whom a man is overcome, the same is brought into bondage. Folks, see if this sounds familiar to you. I'm just going to kind of paraphrase through 1 Peter here. I mean, in the 2nd chapter. There are also lying prophets among the people. Just as there were lying religious leaders among you, they smuggle in destructive divisions, pitting you against each other. Now think about it. In this town, churches are pitted against each other.
Right.
In this dangerous age we're living in, this age we're about to lose everything, groups that should be standing firm in brotherly love pit against each other. Oh, you'd be surprised some of the things they say about me, and some of them are deserving. I'm not much good at times, I know that. Pitting against each other, biting the hand of the one who gave them a chance to have their lives back. In other words, more or less just going exactly against what Jesus said. Going exactly against what Jesus said. They put themselves on a fast downhill slide. They are. We are. Our country is. Our churches are. And folks, I'm not going to try to scare anybody, but I know I've been reading out some of the things that these new laws and stuff are coming up about the health care thing, and they have to pay for it somehow. And they're trying to get the church exemptions, tax things done, where that you no longer can tax exempt your donations. Now, this church probably won't be overwhelmingly a problem with it. Our taxes will probably stay about the same right now because everybody does anything here volunteer-wise. And even I'm not, a paid pastor or anything, so we're way ahead of the game there. And we do live in Indiana, and I want to tell you there's one good point about that. We got a good Christian governor. I've listened to him talk. He's a good man. And it looks like we got a little control down there at the House and the Senate in our state, but nationwide we're in a bit of a pickle. We know that. And it looks like it's going to get bleak. I can't help it from coming on granted because I think this is really this time that we always talk about, and I'm excited to see it. There will be some in this room that will not taste death. I'm just sure of it. They'll never have to taste it because it's happening this fast. And this 2012 thing, boy, I keep getting this distracted. I told you I had so much to get out here this morning about it. This 2012 thing, it's all hysterical to me about Mayan Indians and stuff, but it's so odd that this is all happening right here at the end of this year, and one thing after another is going on. I don't know timeline things. Folks, I know that the Bible itself, you can break it down, everything, the major event in the Bible was in 2,000-year segments. It just was. And it's not just biblical history, it's historical fact other than biblical 2,000 years history. Now this is 2012. I'm always a little confused about the date because it's 2012 AD. That's after the death of Christ. I don't know if it was from Christ's birth, which would have been 30 years earlier or whatever. I don't know. It's irrelevant. But I tell you, we're in a very interesting time.